Good evening, everybody. It's Thursday night time. Jumping into the fire. Ron Hall here again. Hello to everybody. Hope you are dry because it's been a dreary, wet day and it's going to continue. It looks like we're going to have several days of rain. Oh, what freaking fun for that. Man, where do you begin? From Nashville on north, they're getting hammered. Ice, all kinds of crap. Thank goodness it's missed us. The word did finally come down. The season opener on the 20th for the Chattanooga Mocs at home, no fans, against VMI has been postponed. So it's not been canceled. It's been postponed. So the information that some local media was giving out doesn't look too accurate. But it is what it is. My understanding is that Southern Conference, there are only 3 teams that really want to have a spring season. Everybody else doesn't. And one of those is ETSU. They want to have a spring season. Maybe it's so they can win a game. I mean, come on. But tonight, the women's basketball team is at McKenzie Arena. There are fans in the stands. That's a start. And if it weren't COVID, I would be there. Because about right now, I would have just finished the starting lineups and we would be underway. And I miss it. But COVID being what it is, I'm not going back for a little while. So I got to thinking, because I got a message from one of my oldest, dearest friends. I look at her as a little sister. Cindy Sullivan, now Cindy Porter, married to another old friend, Mark Porter. They live up in Spring City and they watch every night. They sent me a picture and they need to send it again where they had it on the big screen around their fire pit Tuesday night, which was kind of cool. It is sad for us, Cindy, her sister Janet, probably her brother Randy and Danny Neighbors, my 2 best friends growing up. Susan Sutton, now Susan Sutton Vaughn. Nancy, who ended up marrying Randy. During the summer, if you think back the old days when there was a Dixie Yarns, and they had a big, nice place up on the lake called Camp Dixie. Huge pavilion, or whatever you want to call it, clubhouse, whatever. Huge. Couple of pavilions with jukebox and all of this stuff. All kinds of stuff. Ball field, shuffleboard courts, boat ramp, fishing dock, a dock to swim off of, all kinds of stuff. And it was for the employees of Dixie Yarns. And it's where they would have company picnics and all kinds of stuff. And we would sneak in. Sometimes we would get caught, sometimes we would. And we'd spend the day up there during the week, during summer break and everything. And I'm perusing Chattanoogan.com. And lo and behold, Camp Dixie sold last week for about $4.5 million. The big whatever. Love you too, Cindy. I know Mark's got his cigar. I've got coffee tonight. Right at $5 million, the huge clubhouse, whatever you want to call it, had been converted to a mansion. It had become a private residence. And it sold for almost $5 million. And that's just a growing up memory that's gone away. But we'll always have those. I saw Cindy in a two-piece bathing suit, hubba hubba. Don't get mad, Mark. And I was a skinny little shit with long hair. Didn't know my butt from page 8. But God, it was so much fun. We hung together as thick as thieves. And I could really make Mark mad if I told him, Cindy tried to con me out of my class ring one time when we were still in high school. And I had gotten mine early. It was one of my Christmas gifts. I didn't want to wait on Jostens, so Mom and Dad took me to Zales, and I got a Hickson High class ring, and, you know, what the hell. But these people are very special to me and always will be. That's why it was so humbling a couple of years ago when I was invited to Randy's birthday party at his request. I don't have them, Mark. Too bad we didn't have cell phones back then. But I was humbled that he wanted me to be at his birthday party when he turned 60. So I got thinking today, my baby brother is going to turn 59 years old this year. That's just so hard for me to comprehend that my baby brother is going to be 59 years old. And I can never remember any of us in the group ever getting mad at each other. And everybody's mom and dad became a surrogate mom and dad to all of us. JT and Rosella neighbors. We were all devastated when Danny's father passed away. It was just totally a shock. And I'm not going to go into great detail, but Earl Sullivan saved my ass one time. And I'm always going to be grateful for what Earl did. He was a hell of a good man. And it turns out my mom and dad, my dad knew Cindy's and Randy and Janet's mom before we ever met. That's why the look on Cindy's mom's face when I told her, "Are you sitting down, Cindy?" Long story short, and I don't mind sharing it with everybody, Woody and Louise Hall adopted me and my brother, both of us at 3 days old. And they were very open and honest about it, or so we thought. And it wasn't until about 10, 15 years ago that the truth finally got out. Not only was Woody Albert Hall, our adopted father, turns out he's also our birth father. Has Cindy passed out yet, Mark? The man who adopted us was really our biological father. Two different, of course. But everybody's mom and dad. I mean, we'd go to my house and we'd freaking play rook all damn night. And then when we got old enough to go out partying, we'd be leaving the house and Dad look at me and Randy and Danny and go, "Make sure you stop at a drugstore." But those are memories I would take nothing for. And I would love to have some kind of big ass reunion amongst all of us that grew up together before any of us take the dirt nap. It'd be real nice to get everybody together and just shoot the breeze and all of that good stuff. And I miss those days. A whole lot simpler time. We don't have to put up with people like Marjorie Taylor Greene using the R word. All you can do is shake your head, and then she doesn't apologize about it. But as everybody knows, I am a rock and roll fan from day one. And yesterday, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame nominations came out. Tonight's not going to be as long as we normally have a show. But these are your nominees for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. The announcement will be made in May. Then the induction ceremony will take place this fall. Last year, the Doobie Brothers went in, but there was no ceremony because of COVID. Oh, yeah, I remember. Yep. Mom was livid. It was hilarious. Cindy and a whole bunch of Nancy was in on it, and I forgot who else. See, those people still call me Ronnie. But here are the nominees for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame this year. Mary J. Blige, Kate Bush, Whip It Good, Devo, the Foo Fighters, writer, this is as a performer. Fela Kuti, LL Cool J, the New York Dolls, Rage Against the Machine, Todd Rundgren, Tina Turner, who is in with Ike and Tina Turner, but this would be going in separately, and Dionne Warwick. Now, a couple of these you can knock off the list real quick. Not going to happen. Now, what you can do is you can go to Rock Hall, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame website. You can see it up there, and you can vote. You can vote for up to 5, and you can vote every day because the fan vote is part of the induction process. Last year, biggest vote getter was the Dave Matthews Band. They did not get in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. They are not nominated this year. Number 2 was Pat Benatar. She was not nominated this year. And later on, I'll tell you who my 5 fan votes are going to go for. Kate Bush, nah, just not that important. Just really not that important. Devo, Trendsetters. The Foo Fighters are my favorite rock and roll band right now. Foo Fighters, U2, they're my favorites. One, I have the utmost respect for Dave Grohl of the Foo Fighters. He's already in with Nirvana. But when Kurt Cobain died, he's formed his own band, the Foo Fighters, and they're really good. Damn good. They're on my bucket list to go see. The Go-Go's. The Go-Go's are the only female rock and roll band in history with a #1 song, a #1 album that they performed their own instruments and they wrote their own songs. That's history. And I was at, I think it was Paradise Records on 153, and I bought Beauty and the Beat the day it was released. I just love the Go-Go's. For the metal fans, Iron Maiden, Jay-Z. Yeah, it's the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, but they are taking a lot of hip-hop artists or whatever you want to call as Jay-Z. One, he's one of the richest men in America. Hell of a producer. Chaka Khan, she's been nominated before by herself and as part of the band Rufus. Tell me something good. You got Mark and Cindy, I know will remember that one. Carole King being nominated as a performer. Tapestry. Fela Kuti is, I believe, Nigerian. I don't know a whole lot about him. LL Cool J, who does have some Chattanooga ties. Now he's an actor and let me think. Gonna Knock You Out. The New York Dolls, they merged the glam rock of T-Rex with punk. Rage Against the Machine, I am a huge fan. They blend metal, hip-hop. They're very political. But I don't let politics stand in my way of who I enjoy listening to. Todd Rundgren is a freaking genius. A genius. One, as a recording artist, and 2, as a producer. If you're a Grand Funk Railroad fan, he produced We're an American Band. Tina Turner, as a solo artist, the only knock I have on Tina Turner is her solo career was 1 album. And Dionne Warwick. Man, it's not hard for me to pick the 5 that I'm going to fan vote for. Now, trying to pick the 5 that will actually go in, my gut tells me Jay-Z will go in. Typically, they take 5 or 6 of the nominees get into the Hall of Fame. think last year was 6. Now, what I would truly love to see happen is they go back and invite the ones who were inducted last year to at least come and perform at the ceremony this year in Cleveland. But, pardon me. But I know the doobies will be on the road, and I'm hoping I'm vaccinated by the time they appear at the Ameris Amphitheater in Atlanta this summer. Only thing is, I got to find a date for it. You know, we got Valentine's Day coming up, and what's a Valentine's Day? You know, what is Valentine's Day? But it's going to be interesting to see. Like I said, I'm a huge Foo Fighters fan. I mean, the Foo Fighters are, and I've recommended this before. Go on YouTube and you can find it, the Dave Grohl documentary where he, Sound City, where he bought a one-of-a-kind mixing board that was used at Sound City Recording Studios in Los Angeles, where some iconic albums were recorded. Rumors, all of Tom Petty's, or most of Tom Petty's work was recorded there. Metallica, Rick Springfield, I mean, you name them, and they recorded at Sound City. John Fogerty, everybody. And watch the documentary. It's good, and you'll get a respect for Dave Grohl, even if you're not a fan. Now, I've forgotten the guy's name up in Nashville that caused the big hoopla for dropping the N-word. And in the time since, when his record company suspended him and radio stations refused to play him anymore and all of this, he ended up right now with the #1 country album in America. And then yesterday he does issue an apology, and he asks people to please stop supporting him because what he did was wrong. Kudos to the young man. He can bounce back from this. It will be a long, hard road, because that's something these days that just doesn't fly. It's like University of Alabama, Birmingham has announced they're taking George Wallace's name off of one of the buildings. It's just part of the world as we know it today, and we just have to live with it. Your past can come back and bite you on the ass. One of the stars of The Mandalorian has been fired over some social media comments. You just have to be super careful. Unless you're retired, is your job worth it? Is your job really worth doing it? I don't know. Mark, that's the only bad thing about the cigar. When you cut the end off of it, you're constantly picking little pieces of tobacco. And that's a pain in the ass. Morgan Wallen, thank you, Cindy. It's like smoking non-filter cigarettes. Do they even make non-filter cigarettes anymore? I can't remember the last time I had a non-filter cigarette. I think I was in the Navy, stealing them from the personnel chief that I worked for when I was out. And yeah, but it will be interesting to see if Morgan Wallen can bounce back from this. Don't know. Michael Richards, Kramer on Friends, has really not bounced back. And the way I look at it, excuse me, while we're getting older, The younger generation has a different set of values. Just like we had a different set of values when we were growing up, that was different from our parents. They have a different set of values than we have. And every time I see myself turning into, even though my dad was about as cool a human being as ever walked this planet, I'll never forget the time he asked me if I could get him some dope. Because his heart was giving out, and the doctor told him, smoke some dope, chill yourself out, try it and see if it helps. But when I see myself sometimes becoming the parts of my dad I really didn't like a whole lot, I check myself. And they just have a different set of values, and things that we did in our past or things that other people have done in their past can come back and bite you on the ass. And so you just got to be careful. If you don't have anything to lose, go for it. But always remember, speaking your mind can come at a price. And there's not a whole lot you can do about it, especially in the state of Tennessee or state of Georgia, because it is right to work state. Means they can fire you for no freaking reason. They don't have a reason. They don't have to have a reason to cut you loose. So always bear that in mind. Hopefully everybody does have some, if you are with somebody, you have big plans for Valentine's Day. If you've not made plans with that special someone, guys, do something nice, okay? A little romance damn sure doesn't hurt, okay? A little romance never hurt anybody. I mean, that's my biggest downfall, is if I'm seeing somebody, I try so hard not to be an asshole. Although I've got 2 ex-wives that will probably disagree. But go to theRockHall.com and cast your votes for who you would like to see in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Here are the ones I'm voting for. I am voting, you'll see an X. I am voting for Mary J. Blige. She is so freaking talented that it is just unbelievable. I'm voting for the Go-Go's. This is a no-brainer that the Go-Go's are going to go in. The most important female band in history. I'm going to cast a vote for Chaka Khan. My next vote is going to be, and if you've never heard them, go listen to them, pull them up on YouTube. Bulls on Parade, Rage Against the Machine. And Todd Rundgren, because he's been getting a nomination the last million years, and it's time for Todd Rundgren to go in. That's who I'm voting for. Mary J. Blige, the Go-Go's, Chaka Khan, Rage Against the Machine, and Todd Rundgren. Go listen to it. If it wouldn't get me in trouble with their record label, I would play you a clip, but pull up some Rage Against the Machine and listen to it. I did not vote for the Foo Fighters because the Foo Fighters are going to go in eventually. Even though they've been around, and it just seems like only yesterday that Kurt Cobain committed suicide and ended Nirvana. The Foo Fighters have been around for more than 25 years. But they're going to go in. They are too popular. But then again, we thought Dave Matthews would get nominated again this year, and they didn't. But I'm just an old rock and roll asshole. I'll never give it up. Folks, thanks for tuning in tonight. We are working on a new ending for the show. And if you've ever seen the movie The Big Lebowski, think about the ending of The Big Lebowski. And that's going to be the new ending to the show. Hopefully my son will have it edited here in the next few days. God almighty, damn. It is hard to believe. My daughter's fast approaching 40. My son is fast approaching 35. Damn, I'm getting old. I'm getting old. But man, I am loving it. I am loving every minute of it. Folks, go out and have a great Friday and Saturday. We will see you here on Valentine's night. I don't have a date. Mark, take care of Cindy for Valentine's Day. She's a damn good person. And like I said, she's like a little sister. But we will see you. Thank you, Mark. We will see you, everybody, on Sunday night, 7 o'clock. Watch the Daytona 500. First NASCAR race of the season is Sunday. I think it comes on at 2. I'm going to go with Kevin Harvick. I'm going to go with Kevin Harvick. But, and if you've not seen the video of Tom Brady drunker than Cooter Brown, it is hilarious. And when you're the greatest quarterback to ever play the game, you're entitled to get hammered. And one little final note. This month, in fact, Saturday will be my 39th anniversary of sobriety. 39 years since I had a drink. And I don't miss it a damn bit. I really don't. It's been the best 39 years sober that I could ever ask for. We will see everybody Valentine's night, 7 o'clock. And as always, be kind to each other. Good night.
Goodbye, 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 goodbye. Without a doubt, gonna do one burn down. Take this running out empty for far too long. Cause I'm getting so alone. Nothing can you give me makes me feel so bad. Goodbye, 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 goodbye.